Hello everybody, my name's Lou. I'm here again with another video, and also with me is my friend Mauricio.
Hey everybody, I'm Mauricio.
He is one of my close friends, and I thought we'd do a little special video about E3 2021. It's coming out next week, and I know I do anime reviews here, but I thought I'd do something a little fun, when it comes to video games. I'm not much of a big gamer. My friend, though, here is what I would say more of a gamer than I am, or at least he has more of an input about it. What do you say about that?
Uh, I would definitely describe myself as a gamer. I've been playing games from very early on. One of my uncles gave me an NES back in the day. Then my dad got me a Nintendo 64, then a Nintendo GameCube, so on and so forth, until eventually one of my cousins was playing the PS1. From there, PS1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to PC. So I would say gamer is definitely a good description of myself.
Okay, good. So, E3 is going to be next year. So, like I said, I got you. Shit, I said it wrong. E3 is gonna E3 is gonna be next week. Okay, and like I said, I got you to talk with me because I said that you're more of a gamer than I am. What would be some of your favorite games? Just a good starter.
Favorite games, man. Like I used to be into the whole you know, I'm part of one group of games, right? So like back in the day, it was always like, oh, you got your Halos versus your Call of Duties, and so on and so forth. Nowadays, I would say I'm more into just the quality, right? So with that in mind, you know, Conquer is Bad for a Day, uh, Army Men for the PlayStation. There's plenty of Call of Duties that I like, even though plenty of them I don't like, and so on and so forth. I would say one of my favorites ever was RuneScape, just because of uh, I don't know, I like leveling up over and over again. So so yeah, that's I mean, as far as the one true favorite, I would say there isn't one, but there's definitely plenty of them that I really like, really enjoy.
Okay. I definitely consider myself more of a Nintendo person. I played just like so many Nintendo games throughout the years, and I've owned a PlayStation, I own an Xbox as well, and I've played games on those systems. And during college I wasn't into gaming that much just because I just spent more money on other things that were important. But now I want to get back more into gaming. And even with the consoles I don't own, I still like to keep up with all the big games that are coming out. Um, for me, like I guess my favorite game series would be Super Smash Brothers. It's kind of generic, but it's a game series that I have pretty much grew up with my whole life, and I've seen it from the beginning to the end. And like I said, is a lot of Nintendo games is the ones that I grew up with the most. Um, what do you like most about video games and things that like are good in games that probably you can't get in any other medium?
Just man, I would say the experience in general. So when you play a video game, you're hopping into this other world, right? You're getting to experience, depending on who the developer was, but you're getting to experience different, feelings, sound. I don't know how can you experience sound, but just the way they construct the game elements and the gameplay in general and things like that, they make you feel different things based on what you're seeing, which is why I mean, I always compare games in general to any other form of art, right? Like books, movies, things like that. It's like the medium itself communicates to the consumer or to the player just in different ways based on how the developer did it. So that's what I like about games. It's like reading a good book,
Hmm.
for different games. So yeah, that aspect of the art itself is what I find appealing.
Okay. My next question is going to relate to the development of games. Because the question after that is going to like has the connection to it.
Okay.
First off, I want to ask you though, like you have experience when it comes to creating some sort of game, right? Can you like just briefly tell me about like the kind of like stuff that you created?
Uh, I would say all of the basics, right? I've any developer I would say starts off by cloning things, right? At least that's where I started. So I've cloned Flappy Bird. I've cloned, what's that game called? Bomberman. I've cloned Bomberman. Mario. I mean, I've made platformers, things like that. Um, so yeah. I mean, that's what I've done. I've tried doing multiplayer a few times, but I'm not that good at netcode and that kind of thing. So
Okay.
that's as far as my experience goes.
And are you making anything at the moment?
Yes, I'm currently making an RPG. Like I mentioned, RuneScape is one of my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I like their progression system. So I've always wanted a game that's with a similar progression system, except with not an atrocious story, right? Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, I can write a better story. So that's where that project came from.
Okay. So, and what kind of games would you say that you can describe that you're making, like that for people out there who are not familiar with like the development and coding of games in general?
RPG games, right? So mostly focused with the story, but I'm trying my best to make some good gameplay, so you're not just reading a book, basically. The whole point of games is to give you an experience. It can't just be text over and over again, or cutscenes. So,
and also quick question, but quick answer. Is there like some sort of like a name that you give to yourself for like a game developer, or is there like another word you want to describe yourself?
You mean like my author name, or just
in general, like just a label.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, that would be indie developer, right?
Indie developer.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah, and a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people use that label, but it's like I make games, and I'm not part of a AAA company. Therefore, I assume I'm an indie developer.
Okay.
It's kind of my assumption. I don't even know if that's the right definition.
No, of course.
Yeah.
Well, that's one way to go across it, but no, that's a good label for it. That's a good word for it.
Yeah.
All right. So this leads me to my next question that has to do with E3 2021. So last year we didn't get an E3 at all because of the pandemic and everything that happened.
Right.
This year we're getting it again. We're getting an E3 and it's going to be virtual. So a lot of people have been making arguments about this E3, saying, well, not arguments, but just conversations about this E3, saying that like it may not be as big as we want it to be, just because a lot of the games that that companies were holding off on probably were already revealed throughout the year. Things like, say, like Resident Evil Village, like that was a game that I'm pretty sure would have been revealed at E3, and so people are saying that maybe a lot of the games that they have been wanting to talk about were already revealed throughout the year. And so I want to know, is like, as a developer, do you think like that a lot of people might surprise fans with like really good games that they've been like working on throughout the year, or you think because of like 2020 that they weren't able to work on that much stuff? So do you think that we're going to get a lot of stuff revealed, or do you think it's going to be kind of a slow E3, like not a very exciting E3?
I don't think it'll be lackluster. Like, I think there'll be a lot of things that people are going to be very happy about, because if you don't become a developer and then let a pandemic get in your way. It's like if you have a pandemic, you're rejoicing because your deadlines got pushed a year, which means you can make better quality things. So I know if I were in a AAA company and they told me, oh, there's a pandemic right now, we're pushing things off by 6 months, I would be like, thank God, because the vision I have for this game that I'm working on now has 6 more months to be developed. So with that in mind, I would be disappointed at the fact, or more like I would be disappointed if they didn't surprise us. Like a year just passed, there was no E3 like you mentioned. There has to be something delivered. There has to be something that comes up in this E3.
Okay.
So I think E3 is going to be pretty cool this year.
Okay. So E3 is going to have, it's going to be like it's going to be a typical like 3-day, 4-day event again. It's going to be a bunch of, all these companies are going to be part of it. Okay. We have Ubisoft, we have Square Enix, Warner Brothers Games, Capcom, Nintendo. I think the only company that that has no involvement in it is Sony. I think they're going to just do their own thing. Do you think is there anything that that you would like to see out of any companies that you want to see like a sequel out of? Is anything in general, whether it's something that you heard about or not? Yes, go all out.
I think the most obvious one, for me at least, would be Breath of the Wild. Right.
Yes.
I
Okay.
played that recently.
Mhm.
I held off from it for the longest time because I didn't have a Nintendo Switch.
Mhm.
As soon as I got a Switch, it's the first game I played, and I was disappointed. Right, I played all of the Zeldas leading up to Breath of the Wild, and don't get me wrong, like Breath of the Wild is amazing, but it is very flawed. You can tell that the team wasn't that well versed with
Mhm.
open world, so a lot of the progression is flawed. A lot of the progression is repetitive, etc., etc. You know, I'm not going to go on a ramble here about Breath of the Wild,
Yeah, of course.
but to clarify on your question, um, I expect to see Breath of the Wild 2 there. You know, it's
Mhm.
been a few years since Breath of the Wild 1,
Yeah.
and it's about time, I would say, for Breath of the Wild 2. But of course, I understand if they don't have it. You know, open world games take forever to develop, so if they don't have it, totally get it. I just hope that if they're taking longer than what it looks like they're taking,
Mhm.
they make it count, right? I mean, that's the whole point as a developer. It's like if you're using time, it's because you're polishing, right?
Mhm.
So if they do deliver a product, maybe not this year, maybe next year, but whenever it is that they deliver the product, it better be good, you know.
Of
I
course.
mean, they've set their own standards too, based on Breath of the Wild 1.
Mhm.
So yeah, so that's what I'm expecting. More Resident Evils. I mean, there's been a lot of them recently. There's two remakes. There's that one multiplayer one, which I forgot what it's called, and
Mhm.
then there's Village recently. But they were all really good games. Resident Evil engine, like the RE engine or whatever they're calling it,
Mhm.
it's one of the best engines I've seen recently. So I hope they make more games with that. It looks really cool. Hideo Kojima. I mean, come on, he's Hideo Kojima. Everybody likes him. His stories are way out there. I hope he makes more of them. You know, his engine's really good too. I mean, you can run it on like any piece of hardware. So, I mean, I hope he makes more games with that. I just hope the story is more cohesive. But that's beside the point, right?
Of course.
Um, let's see. Gears of War. It's been a while since I've seen that.
Yeah, you
I
think we're gonna get another Gears of War game?
I don't think we'll get one. I hope they do, but that's more like up in the air, you know.
Yeah. Speaking of Microsoft, you think? I mean, are you a huge Halo fan?
I am, but from the Bungie era, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you don't. I guess you're not really that hooked on Halo Infinite, the new one.
I haven't even played it.
I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not even out. It's coming out this fall.
Okay, I haven't even kept up with it.
Yeah, yeah.
So that should tell you enough.
For sure. I mean, that,
yeah.
that says enough. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, like the last one I played was just a Master Chief Collection, basically.
Yeah.
A few friends of mine were playing through of it through the whole thing just for old time's sake. I don't know. There's a 5. I think there's a 5. I don't remember. There might be a 4.
And-
I don't even know. Like after 3 and ODST, like that's as far as I got.
Nah,
Yeah.
totally understand. Anything from Microsoft that maybe like any like titles from the past that they have like mentioned? Because I know they also mentioned things like a new Fable game and stuff. Like anything that from Microsoft that you think you want to see them like pump out and showcase.
I was about to say Fable, right?
Okay.
Like there's been rumors, you know, they're like, oh, there's a Fable, whatever, Fable 4, is it? Yeah, they're like, there's a new Fable coming up, and I'm like, God, I hope that's real, you know.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I like RPGs, and Fable 2 is the one that I played. I didn't have the opportunity to play 1 or 3 because that 1 was after, like, when I played 2, you know, it had been a while since 1, so I didn't play 1, and then 3, I was like in high school and broke, so I couldn't get it, you know.
Mhm.
But then, you know, now I'm not doing so bad. So if they're like, oh, you know, new Fable, I'll be like, heck yeah, I'm gonna buy it, you know. But I just hope it's good. 2 was amazing. I mean, excellent RPG elements to it. The progression was really good. You know,
Mhm.
the side quests, all that kind of stuff. It was really good, really fun. So
All I want from Microsoft is a new Banjo Kazooie game. They don't do anything with that. I'm saying ever since they added them to Super Smash Brothers, I'm just like, just bring him back and make a new game, like a new game. Like you got like an awesome character, awesome
Mhm.
like franchise to do it with. So if it doesn't happen, it's fine. I'm just saying that hey,
Mhm.
they got money right there.
Of course, yeah.
Um, I guess aside from that, for me, like for the series that like I wouldn't be able to play that much about, but like I liked hearing about would be Square Enix. I would like to see part two of Final Fantasy VII, which is
Mhm.
of course the remake was a huge hit last year. There's gonna be part two and part three. So if they release any information on part two, that'll be a big deal because hey, that's the golden goose of that company. They like obviously um, love selling stuff off that game. It was a big hit. So seeing part two, I'm pretty sure will make people wet their pants. It will be a big deal.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we'll see about that one. I don't know if they're gonna release anything about that, but I don't want to make this video obviously too much about Nintendo, but I do want to go on Nintendo now and talk
Mhm.
about the games that I would be excited for Nintendo. So for me, you already talked about Breath of the Wild too. For me, the two games that I'm excited for the most that I want to see get announced, get showcased, is Metroid Prime 4 and Bayonetta 3. Um, these are two games that have been in development hell.
Oh
Um,
no.
they were announced like years ago, and I just want to see them showcase it all. Like I just want to see something. Like this is technically the 30th anniversary of Metroid. Have you ever played a Metroid game?
I played Metroid something. The one on the GameCube, right? I
Yeah.
don't remember what it was,
So,
but it was pretty good.
Metroid Prime 4 was originally being developed by Bandai Namco. Nintendo then said that they did not like the vision that they had for it. Like they didn't like it, so they scrapped that game and then started from the beginning. Was the original creators of the Metroid series.
Okay.
Um, so people have been saying that like they kind of just started development in some way. Like like there's just so much stuff going on that you think was a game like, and this also says was Bayonetta 3, which is another game that's also been in development hell. Like they just been working on it for years. Do you think a game that's been on development for like years? Do you think like how long do you think it takes for them to finally like, release actual like gameplay?
Oh man, like so I've been in development hell before,
Mm-hmm.
and oh no, man, like it's politics. It's politics is what it comes down to. It also comes down to resources. It comes down to just morale for the team in general.
Mm-hmm.
So when people say development hell, I mean it's hell's in the name for a reason. I mean, when you die and you're like, oh, what if I go to hell? You think of like the worst possible environment ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Development hell is exactly that, you know? So, as far as like how long can development hell take before you get out of it? Oh man. Um, the one I was in there 2 years and nothing came of it. And I know for a fact they were in that state 5 years before I joined. So that was 7 years total before I left,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So I'm like, that wasn't even a big project. It wasn't even a bit like, no offense to the old company that I worked for, but it wasn't even like a big company. So
Okay.
if a small company takes 7 years and I was on the team, right? And I still couldn't fix it, how would a AAA company be? You know?
Okay.
So I would say, I don't know how long they've been in that state for that project.
Yeah, I have to look up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I would say like at least a decade. I mean, honestly, it can be indefinite until they fix whoever's in charge. That's basically what it comes down to. It's like
Okay.
if you're in development hell, you got to replace the guys at the top.
Okay.
That's it. And they're the ones that have the most politics power. So it's going to be tough to get them out of there.
Okay.
You know?
I don't know the full story about everything going on, so hopefully like things have been kind of like going well for them now.
Yeah.
So those are the games that like those are the main games I'm excited for. Breath of the Wild 2, of course. Big deal. This is 35th anniversary for Legend of Zelda. People have been very picky about Legend of Zelda's 35th anniversary because there has been no like announcements at all for Zelda. Like back in the last direct, like the only thing they announced was a Skyward Sword remastered, a game that not a lot of people liked back then. But hey, you know what? Whatever, we're getting remastered. People are saying that they're going to be expecting a re-release of the classic 3D Zelda games. Like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess. I guess a pack.
Hmm.
And so would you want to play any of those games again on the Switch? Or
Oh yeah. I mean, the ones that I played the most were Wind Waker and Ocarina of Time, and I love those games. I mean, the only reason I stopped playing them is to forget as much as I possibly can. That way, when I do play them again, it's awesome again.
okay,
Twilight Princess I missed. I was too broke at the time, so I couldn't get the game. And then Majora's Mask creeped me out at the time. I was a kid, so that one scared me a little bit, so I never played it. But I mean, if it got on Switch now, of course I would buy it.
Yeah.
I mean, these are just classics you gotta have, right? Like, I would just buy them just so I can give them to my kids. 20 years down the line, I would be like, you gotta play these, man. Like, these are great. So
I mean, that's how they sold.
yeah.
That's how they sold the 3D All Stars for Super Mario. Like was Sunshine and 64 and Galaxy.
Yeah.
I say that because I bring those games up because the reason why people are expecting re-release of Ocarina and Majora's Mask is because the system, the emulators that they use, and I know I'm going to be paraphrasing these words or saying them incorrectly, but the emulators that they use to create specifically 64 and Sunshine, those engines were made specifically for those those kind of games, like for the 64 and GameCube games. So it'll be kind of weird for Nintendo to just drop that kind of process. So what I'm saying is that people are expecting them to do it again for something like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. So they're expecting that to happen again. Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, those games were already re-released for the HD and the Wii U. I never played the Wii U. I skipped that entirely.
Yeah.
So they're saying that they could totally easily do that. And they could do that, of course, for 35th anniversary. Of course, we're going to get some Breath of the Wild 2 news because, well, why the hell not?
Yeah.
This is not going to happen, but how crazy would it be if all out of the blue they say we're going to re-release this Christmas a remake of Ocarina of Time?
I mean, Ocarina of Time is one of the games that got everybody into Zelda, right? It's like one of the first ones that got, really recognized. Think back to the 90s or early 2000s, and you're going to the, Blockbuster, that kind of thing. Especially in southern countries like Mexico and farther south, it's like you have these places where you go and you rent games, right? Some of the games that were always checked out were the Zelda games. And I guarantee you it was hard to find Ocarina of Time to rent it, right? Back in those years. So, is it going to happen? I hope so.
I mean, that'd be cool, but it's just,
like, it probably won't, right? Of course.
Yeah, like I said, they're just probably going to re-release the game, the original one.
Yeah. I don't know. My game's not even out, and I'm already planning all of these events, right? I'm like, Christmas, 5 years down the line, I'm definitely going to re-release it. I'm going to do all these remasters. I'm going to do all these things. It's like, these guys have the resources for it. If I were in charge, I would do it. So at the very least, you can take that from this conversation. It's like, if they don't do it, I promise you they considered it. And if they didn't do it, I promise you it's not because they didn't want to. It's because maybe just something couldn't line up,
Yeah.
Probably something legal, maybe copyright, something like that. But it's like, these guys, they're at the top of their game because they're game developers. And as a game developer, they love their product. And I promise you, they're trying to get that out to you. But it's like, sometimes you just can't do it. Sometimes there's too much work to be done and somewhere else, So
yeah, they just want the easy way out. Besides that, let's see. Besides Legend of Zelda, there's also Pokemon. I know that the 2 remakes are coming out this year. Diamond and Pearl. There's that new open world Pokemon game, Legends Arceus. I wouldn't mind seeing more stuff about that. I'm not a big Pokemon gamer, but hey, I wouldn't mind playing those as to actually get myself into Pokemon again. So there are those games. Are you a big Pokemon fan?
I played the first one. Okay, so I always wanted to play them, but I didn't have a Game Boy. I didn't have the right hardware for it. Right. The first one I played was Pokemon Y or X, one of those two. Pokemon X or Y version, one of the two. I liked it. I mean, it was a good game. Then I got, was it Alpha Sapphire, which was a re-release of Sapphire, I think.
Okay.
It was carbon copied from Y, right?
Hmm.
And then I never bought another Pokemon game again. So I guess that's my point. It's like, as far as I can tell, and I'm a casual Pokemon player,
Hmm.
and if you want a game to be successful, you need to cater to the casuals, unfortunately. But casual Pokemon player here, I'm telling you, I'm not buying another Pokemon game because as far as I can tell, they're all carbon copies of each other.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
okay.
So it's like, I hope they change them. I didn't play Sword and Shield because, again, it came off as carbon copied.
Uh-huh.
Just reskins, different regions, maybe a couple new features here and there. But it's like, that it is what it is. You know?
And
So-
I know Pokemon's a very like controversial topic. I feel
Mhm.
like that deserves its own video.
Mhm.
I'm very interested in that new open world Pokemon game. There's like one I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's called Legends Arceus. It's a open world. If you look at a trailer, it looks like Breath of the Wild with
Yeah.
Pokemon.
I heard of it.
So
Yeah. I don't know much about it.
yeah,
But at this point, again, as a developer, I'm like, did they just take the Breath of the Wild engine and just reuse it? It's like, okay, that's okay. That's okay. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, it does raise a few red flags as far as, like, the copy paste part, you know?
yeah, sure,
It's like, I just hope they aren't just reusing these systems, you know?
sure. I mean, it might hook me into the franchise if I'm not a big Pokemon fan. Besides Pokemon, I'm going to get more into detail about this. This is going to be my conversation.
Mhm.
So, Super Smash Brothers,
Okay.
Nintendo, we're going to be getting another Smash Brothers character review, okay?
Oh, we
And-
are?
Well, of course we are, okay? Like, there's no announcement of it, but like, is there any time you're going to reveal a new character? It's going to be an E3.
that does make sense. Yes.
Yeah, that's when you're going to reveal another big character, you know? Like, why the hell wouldn't you? So, like, I mentioned, of course, earlier that Super Smash Brothers is the series that I grew up with the most. I've played every iteration of the game. Like, I didn't own every copy. Like, the Wii U version is the only one I didn't own just because I didn't have a Wii U. But, I mean, I still played it with friends, you know, that had owned it. And I play it now, of course, now because Ultimate is the one that has all the stuff from the original games. It's, like, has every character from the past game. So, it's the one that, like, I wanted to own because, like, as a Smash fan, it's the one that I needed to play.
Mhm.
And we are reaching the last two characters, which is a big deal because also goes back to like, you know, how interesting a video this is because I'm talking about video games and like Super Smash Brothers is a celebration of video games entirely. Like,
Yeah.
or at least that's what people like to say. You know, it's the biggest crossover event.
Exactly.
Like people like to say about Infinity War, about Avengers Infinity War, saying, "Oh, like that's the biggest crossover event." It's Smash Brothers. You know, it's the only game where you can play as Mario, Sonic, Pac-Man, Steve from Minecraft,
Snake's in there.
Cloud, it's a Street Fighter, Ryu, and it's like all in one game. It's like all these like different companies like coming together to like, you know, include all their characters,
Mhm.
and we're reaching the last two characters. Like after these last two DLC characters, the game's finished. I think we're only getting one character, and so I don't know who it's going to be. Like we're getting one character. I don't know who it's going to be. I'm going to put money on at least for these last two characters. I'm going to put money on two characters. One of them getting in. Okay.
Mhm.
Doom Guy or Master Chief from Halo. If there's any series that's not represented in Smash Brothers at all that much, is the first-person shooter. Metroid almost because of the Metroid Prime trilogy, but even then, we're still thinking about the Metroid series entirely, which is still a side scroller. Like, there's no real first-person shooters that's represented in Smash Brothers. Doom Guy would make sense because of like, if I'm correct, the Doom series technically created the first-person shooter, from what I understand. So
my understanding is yes.
So I think that
Very similar.
even though I would prefer Master Chief because I grew up more with Halo, I have more connection to it. I never played a Doom game, and nothing against Doom. I'm pretty sure Doom's great. I think, if anything, the Doom series deserves to be represented more. Halo, for me, though, like I would be more excited because Master Chief is the face of Xbox. If you're going to represent video games entirely in Super Smash Brothers, I feel like having the face of Xbox would make sense.
Mhm.
Like, even though like yeah, there's no Xbox games on the Switch. Like,
Mhm.
if you're gonna like have all these random characters from various consoles and games, like
Mhm.
I think that like that would be fitting. For if there's anybody else that would you want to see
Mhm.
represented Smash Brothers?
Man, I don't know.
No.
I would say Master Chief as a character would be cool, but I don't think he fits because in the entire Halo franchise, or okay, my mistake. I've only played up to 3 in ODST, right? But up until there, Chief never really does any melee combat. The only thing he does is okay, you got the sword, you got the gravity hammer, and you've got the melee attack. So I don't think it makes sense for him to be in Smash Brothers, just because there's nowhere to grab from. You know?
It doesn't make sense for Steve from Minecraft to be in the game.
No, yeah, but he has his pickaxe and his all of his attacks are melee. Besides, you know, the bow and arrow, right? So it's like it makes sense for him to have made up moves, right? Like the ones in Smash Brothers.
Sure.
So that's why I'm like, I don't think Chief would make it. However, I do think he would be a good skin for the Mii fighters. And people will be so mad because I said that.
Yeah,
But I'm like,
no, it could happen. It
Yeah.
could happen.
I'm like, okay. They could probably make up. They could probably make up some moves for him, but then he's probably just going to be like a shadow of Snake or something, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's just my opinion as far as Master Chief in particular.
Yeah.
But Doom Guy,
Mhm.
oh Doom Guy, he has all these glory kills, right?
Yeah.
So he does melee all the time, right? So I could see Doom Guy maybe becoming a Smash character, but even then, like Doom Guy is like the embodiment of violence. So I don't know if he fits
I don't
thematically.
know.
You know,
I mean, have you ever played a Bayonetta game? Bayonetta is a monster out of her vagina to kill monsters. I feel like she's a little too graphic for Smash Brothers. So I feel like the violence thing is something that you can get away with. But like, who am I to say?
I hope so, man, because Doom Guy would be cool to see. Cool to see in Smash. You can make it work for sure.
Is it Doom Guy or Doom Slayer? I always like. I don't think there's an actual name for the person.
It's well, at least I use it interchangeably. Depending on the lore, you can read up on the lore. You could probably come up with a more pinpoint definition.
It's fine.
But I mean, we're talking about just the game in general, the character you play as in general. So, yeah, Doom Guy, Doom Slayer, either one works in this context. Yeah.
Well, so we are definitely getting the last character, or our last two characters, one character reveal. The only thing else I would want to see on Nintendo Switch, this is something that's not been rumored at all. Is just something that I want. Okay.
Okay.
Like, I know that it's not has been talked about. This is something that like the only thing I asked for, and if it happens, I'll shut up.
Okay.
It's a re-release, remastered of my favorite video game, Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. Okay.
Dude, I want that so much.
That's my favorite video game. There's been no rumors, nothing at all. If it happens, like I would be happy. Yeah. So. I don't think it's gonna happen. I'm just saying that like if it does happen, I'm gonna flip out.
Yeah, I've only seen the ending for it.
So
through like YouTube and stuff.
I'm the only person to say this.
just the ending was enough for me to be like, this is a good game. You know.
So
so I hope so too. Basically, is what I'm saying because I've never played it and I want to play it.
Yeah.
I just don't want to go hunt down a Nintendo 64 and go down the cartridge and then throw it in there. You know. So
it may not happen. It's fine. I'm just like, it'll make me happy.
Yeah, totally get you.
So, that's really all for it though. Like, there's really nothing else I can say. That's I'm really looking forward to. I mean, just a Nintendo fan here, and so that's all looking forward to. I don't know if there's anything else that you want to say that you hope to see to be surprised.
Well, let's see. Bethesda. They owe us answers, right?
Okay.
They got acquired by Microsoft.
They did,
if I remember correctly. Starfield, come on, man. How long has it been?
Okay.
And then they fed us that little teaser for the Elder Scrolls, like what, years ago? I don't even remember. Come on, man. Where's the progress, guys? Like, let us see what it is, right? Especially after Fallout 76. Like, okay, like it's a game. It's a game, right? But it's like, come on, give us like something good, man. Like, I'm tired of replaying Skyrim. I'm tired of replaying all the Fallout 3s, New Vegas 4s. So it's like, I want to see Starfield. I want to see the Elder Scrolls 6. Come on, please, Bethesda. Give me something to work with here.
If you had to pick one, what would it be?
Starfield, actually.
Okay.
Like I said, I've played Skyrim to the death.
Mhm.
I don't need to play Skyrim or anything Elder Scrolls related right now. Starfield seems interesting because it's in the sci-fi, and I like sci-fi. I would say just as much as RPG genre. So, well, to clarify, when I say RPG, I mean fantasy, right?
Yeah.
So, I like fantasy just as much as sci-fi. So, I hope they made some progress on it. If they haven't, of course, it's okay. Just maybe let us know you're working on it. Just be like, hey guys, it's cool. I know it's taking forever, but we've got something here. Check out this cool screenshot. That's it. That's all I need, really.
Yeah, that's what I think that's sometimes just enough.
Yeah, it is enough, honestly.
Mm.
At least because, you want to play the game, you want it to be done right. You want it to be good. You want it to progress the gaming industry in general.
Mm.
So it's like, I find it super inspirational when a game is well done, and they contribute to the medium. So if it takes them 10 years, I don't care. Just make it right.
Just make it fun.
Just make it fun. Make it
Nah, I got
all
you.
inspiring. It should change your life. Just kidding. But you know what I mean. Like,
yeah,
it should be well done.
Yeah, just don't rush through it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, let's see. Any last thoughts?
No, I think that's about it. I can't think of any other games I would like to see. I mean, we already know Halo Infinite's coming out, so Halo's covered.
Yeah.
Gears, the last one I played was 3, and then after that, I don't know what the hell happened to Gears. But, I'm just hoping for an RPG. Just because I like to level up. I like to spend 6 hours to get one level. That's the kind of player I am. So
yeah. I'm mostly just excited for the Nintendo stuff, really. Like, so who knows what we're going to be reviewed with? It's going to be flooding the Twitter pages with so much stuff. Who knows what's going to be announced?
Yeah.
And so all we're hoping for is, like I said in the beginning, that it's going to be big. Hopefully that like they got some amazing stuff to announce. That the past year had allowed them to take the time to develop the games and work on it, and so hopefully we get some good stuff coming out.
Yeah, definitely. I hope so very much.
All right, so I think that's it for this video. We've been going on for a little long, so thank you so much for listening. My name is Lou, and you are again?
My name is Mauricio.
Yeah, I don't think I ever met you before in my life, so yeah.
Yeah, I just answered the posting online. That's it.
So thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna go back to making this typical video, so hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.